Hey, welcome back to the channel. Do you have a Game Boy Advanced SP and the lens is scratched up or there's some other screen damage and you kind of want to fix it, but you don't want to deal with the hinge? Fortunately, the Game Boy SP is really not that hard to work on, and you don't have to disassemble the hinge to simply work on the screen or replace that lens. So, if you stick around, we'll show you how to get that done. Hey, welcome back. I need to just make a couple little comments first. First, I'm sorry that this video is taking a little longer than expected to get out. But I think in my last video, the one before, I was saying about how I had a couple projects that had come up. One was helping reorganize Warp Zone in Greensburg. And of course, that one kind of took priority over some things since he's the one that, sends a lot of the stuff over for me. The other project we'll get into on another video, hopefully the next video. Yeah, the other thing is that I've just run into a point where when I first started my channel, I didn't want to do a lot of repeat repairs, although it seems to be popular. There's several channels out there that will, pull a board and fix the chips, board level stuff, and they do a great job. Don't get me wrong. Those are some of my favorite channels to watch because I pick up a lot of information from them. But I tried not to recreate a lot of my videos just because a lot of my videos, although some of the repairs are complex, I try to present them unedited and complete so an advanced hobbyist knows exactly what to do on repairs. So I've been trying not to repeat some things. And a lot that's come through the shop lately has been a lot of kind of the same thing over and over. But I know we haven't done much on Game Boy SPs. So this one's very basic and very simple, and most of the information I'm going to show you today can be had out of one of my IPS swaps. But on the bench today, we do have a Game Boy Advance SP. This one came to us today because there is a line that goes right down the center of the screen, and actually there's one over here too. It's just out of the splash screen. So it came to me, and the owner of this said they weren't in any kind of rush, because I told him that I could put an IPS in it, but it'd probably be upward of $100 by the time the parts and labor are put in. Or I said, if you're not in a rush, I do get other people doing IPSs, and sometimes I get perfectly good OE screens. Not the 101 screens, but the standard 001 type screens. So we happen to have a good condition 001 SP screen here. So all we're going to do today is we're going to swap out this screen. It's not complex. There's a few gotchas involved, especially with dealing with this ribbon cable. So, to get started, we just need to start taking this apart. There are a few Phillips, but for the most part, you're going to find that they are all tri-wings on the outside. And let's see, a little spudger. We'll get our battery out. Sometimes they fall out, sometimes they're tight. Now from here, the rest of these are tri-wings. From there, the bottom will just lift off. And we'll set it aside, and we will set, normally I set the power switch aside, but it came off with the bottom. All right, here we have 3 Phillips to remove. And now our board is loose. So you can see the board will move, but we don't want to yank it because the ribbon is underneath. So one of the gotchas I was talking about is a lot of people will fight with these, and honestly, so do I. It's not the easiest thing in the world to deal with. But the simple thing is, if you open that up flat, you can see here how the ribbon is twisted. So if you open it, you actually get the most slack out of the ribbon. And then you can position it to where you can get a little easier view of it. Sometimes just a fingernail's easier on these guys. And that's out. All right, so as you can see, all of our buttons are going to fall off. Our membranes are going to fall off. So, and the speaker will fall out. So honestly, just do that. Get rid of them now. And then you don't have to worry about them falling out later. And there's our speaker. Oops. Don't want to, it's got a magnet. We don't want that where the screws are going to be. So, all right. So from here, we need to get these little rubber discs off. Very sharp tweezers, something with an extreme point on it, is usually the best thing to deal with these. In years past, I've tried to use, hobby knives, but it seems like I just wind up damaging them. So if you take some really sharp tweezers and just poke them into the edge, you can usually get them out without damage. Of course, I don't want these readers on because it's not that small. And just try to set them sticky side up, and then you can reuse them again. Just take your time. You won't rip them, you won't destroy them. And any little hole you poke into them will almost disappear once it's reassembled. Oops. All right, those are out of the way. Here we've got 5 more tri-wings. And you can see the screen will come apart. We're gonna leave that together for just a second. We're gonna take this one Phillips out here. And this is actually the, it helps you actually use a Phillips. This is the cover for the cable in the hinge. Now, the nice thing about this is we don't have to take, actually we'll set that one because it's a different screw. We don't have to, there's the cover there. We don't have to take this hinge apart, which I know when guys resell them or when people resell them, that's a big complaint. How do you get the hinge apart? And it's got to be lined up right. And you got to press it out, and sometimes you can hurt the hinge. Now, the slot, the opening here is actually smaller than the ribbon, but it'll come out at an angle just like that. And at this point, there's your screen. And it's just that simple. All right, so now if you've watched any of my IPS videos, and have I done an IPS SP? I believe I have. And if I have, I'm gonna link it. If I haven't, I don't know, I'll link something else up there. So from there, we can just put our new screen in. And since we got a little bit of junk around the edge, since this is a used screen, somebody's trying to call me, but we're not going to answer the phone at the moment. We're just going to clean up the edges of our screen real quick. Little IPA. Does wonders. IPA is just a good general cleaner in the shop. All right, so we can put this back together since this already has a loop in it, but you can see that the loop kind of, holding it this way, is left to right and looped around. Don't loop it the wrong way because otherwise it'll get tight when you open the screen. You can just kind of angle it and it'll go right in, and we can kind of just set that all back together. You can see the hinge there, or the, sorry, not the hinge, the ribbon, and we can put the cover back on. Oops, don't want it to fall apart. So we're just going to hold it, hold that ribbon out of the way, and I will get that Phillips back, and we'll just reassemble this. All right, at this point, we can just go backwards the way we were. We can open it, we'll set it down, and get these screws back in. Sorry if my hands are in the shot. It just, you know, sometimes these little screws are fiddly. So once you get a couple in diagonal of each other, they'll just kind of hold themselves. They don't have to be real tight. It just draws the shell together. And of course, these tri-wing screw heads aren't necessarily the best cut, you know, as far as the tip fitting. And we can put our little discs back. Now, the two corners get the thicker one because they're the bumpers. You can see they're kind of rounded. And then the rest of them are just these little flat guys. And if you did what I said at the beginning and you flip the sticky side up when you set them aside, there we go. Our screen's back in. All right, so now we can set our parts back into the shell. And also, this is a good time if you know, your buttons are dirty. This one's actually really clean. If your buttons are dirty, you know, you can use a little IPA and drop them on the floor. I'll have to find that one in a second. But you can use a little IPA. That's got a little crust on it. So we'll go ahead and wipe that one off. You know, it really almost didn't need it. But let's see. Yeah, he's going to sit this way. No, actually the A is going to be in this one. There we go. And our start and select buttons are the same. It escaped into a bunch of small parts. These guys just do not want to be held on to today. Come here. Sometimes that's how the morning goes. All right, so we got those in place, and then our light button goes up into that one. As you can see on our Game Boy Advance, these are actually little tactile push buttons. So I'm sure you've seen on some of my other videos where, you know, I take the membranes and I clean the carbon pads. You know, this one just simply doesn't have those. It's, oh. All right, I got to find that button that fell on the floor. Give me 2 seconds, I'll be right back. All right, found the button. It rolled halfway down and back over by the camera. So you just drop it in, make sure the membranes are in place. Now, just like before, if we open it, you can actually see how that ribbon comes back up. And this board's going in this way. So, unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be an easy way for me to show this because my hands and my head are going to be in the way. But you open it, you can roll it back, and it will almost fall into place on its own. Okay. That is a very fiddly thing. It's not easy to get. Just take your time and it will go. And from here, it's just quick reassembly. The two short tri-wings are going to be here and here. And the four longer gold tri-wing will be around the edge. One thing I just did and I got lucky on, and I do it constantly with these clamshell Game Boys and DS's. Don't forget to put the plastic slide switch in. It happened to stick in the top of the case and the switch was in the same position as it was before. So I got lucky. But don't forget to put that switch in. And if we put a battery in and we put our battery door on, we can use a Phillips to tighten that down, and we're pretty much done. That is the entire procedure. Now, as I recall, that screen was still good, but let's take a peek at it. And it is. I don't see any lines in it. Yeah, that's a nice clean screen. And of course our backlight still works. Actually, this is a 001 screen. It's a front light. And you can see there's no screens. So there you have it. That was a quick one for today. But, you know, like I said, I was trying not to duplicate videos. The second project will probably get a video this coming week. And that's loud. And it doesn't have anything to do with game repair, but I think some of you will find it interesting, and if not, we'll wind up splitting the channel into two separate pieces. But there you have it. If you like today's video, give us that thumbs up. If you have to give us a thumbs down, please make a comment. And I've actually gotten a few about ads and whatnot, and I appreciate that kind of feedback, because you know, maybe I can change the format, or in the case of ads, you know, I'm going to look into seeing if I can at least cut some ads, or how and when they play. So don't forget to hit the bell notification and hit that subscribe button, because all of that really helps out this channel and supports what we're doing here. Appreciate you being here. I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.